All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. Good evening, everyone, once again, and it's beautiful to have you all on the call this amazing evening. My name is Emmanuel, and I work as a community manager here at Fashion Finest Africa. And this is another beautiful session here at Fashion Finest Africa. And today, our tutor is going to be talking about mastering fashion storytelling and behind the scenes on marketing. So this is a session that we're always having every month. So we had one last month, and we had this special tutor who, taught us on it has to do with branding and all of that. And the session was also recorded as well. I'm sure the people who joined the session can testify that it was so amazing. So today I know that it's really going to be a good time. And our tutor for today is someone that I respect so much. She's someone that I love. She's someone whose work I've seen for a long time. I'm like, oh my God, hey, this thing is killing. This thing is too much. All right. So while the session is ongoing, I want you to be very engaging. So if there are times that you need to give a thumbs up, you can give a thumbs up. If there are times that, oh, she said some things that hit you so deeply, you can just put your hands, your clapping emoji together. You can also take note in the chat as well. Probably she's dropping some tips. You can write it down as well. Now is not the time to be cooking noodles. Now is the time to pay attention. One of the things I tell people whenever I get to moderate session is information is what takes you from where you are to where you should be. So which means that if you have access to some kind of information, you won't be where you are right now. When you see people that are doing well in their career, in their industry, it means that they have access to a particular information, which means that if you have that kind of access to such information, you will do well in that niche as well. All right, without wasting much of our time, I'm going to be reading the profile of our tutor for today. And while I'm reading the profile, I want you to just, put your clapping emoji together. I want you to give your thumbs up, to celebrate her, this evening. All right, she is the creative power behind Kwasi Style Company, a Lagos-based styling brand. She launched in 2017. A political science graduate from Obafemi Awolowo University, she turned her lifelong passion for fashion and style into a thriving business dedicated to helping women feel confident and empowered through their personal style. Kwasi Style offers a full range of styling services, including bridal, personal, wardrobe management, and commercial styling. Our approach focuses on timeless, confidence boosting styles rather than chasing fleeting trends. Our vision continues to expand beyond Nigeria. She is working to make styling accessible across continents through virtual styling services, backed by growth, achieved through collaboration, referrals, and blending authenticity with creativity. Please, can we make welcome to Fashion Finest Africa, Jumoke Shotonwa, as she takes the floor this beautiful evening. Thank you so much for joining us, man. It's really an honor to have you on this call. Let's keep clapping, let's keep celebrating our tutor as she takes the floor
Thank
this
you,
evening.
thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel. Good evening. Can you guys hear me clearly? I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, fantastic. All right, thank you for having me, Emmanuel. It was such a pleasure to be here. I can't wait to dive into everything that I have here today. I hope the time we have will be enough because I'm really excited about this topic. I'm excited about what everyone will learn here today, for your brands, for your businesses, to ensure that you build a very sustainable brand, right? So let's start. I am going to ask a few questions, right? I know we have different fashion brands here in the room this evening. So let me ask this question, and this is related to what we're going to be talking about today, right? So if I'm going to ask you this evening, which do you connect with the most in a fashion brand? So let me see. Can I do a poll here, Emmanuel? Is it possible to do a poll?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me see if I can put up a poll for everyone to take. Um, okay, how do I do that?
I'm trying to even check from here.
Okay, but I think if we can't do the poll, I think I can just ask the questions and people can, leave comments in the chat, right? So if you were to connect with a fashion brand, how would you connect with them? Number one, you connect with a fashion brand with the clothes itself, the story behind the clothes, the life. Someone can help me type in the section on the comment section, right? Which way do you connect with the fashion brand the most? The clothes themselves, the story behind the clothes, the lifestyle that they project, or the people who use the brand or who wear the clothes, right? So let me see what your answers are. Did you get that? Let me take it again. I can drop it in the comment section. Okay. Okay, so I just dropped it. Let me see your answers in the comments. Which do you connect with most in a fashion brand? The clothes themselves, the story behind the clothes, the lifestyle that they project, or the people wearing them. Okay, I can see people saying, Anne is saying B, the story behind the clothes. Sumishi is saying the story behind the clothes. Ari is saying the lifestyle that they project and the story behind the clothes, the story behind the clothes. Okay, people are saying the story behind the clothes. Option B and C, the story and the lifestyle. The lifestyle, the story, beautiful, the lifestyle and the story. I'm loving it. Keep your comments coming in. Keep it coming in. The story, the story, the story. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So today we're talking about storytelling in fashion. I hope you have your writing materials on with you. You have your notepads, you have your pens, you have your iPad ready to jot things down because it's going to be really, really packed, right? So we're going to talk about storytelling in fashion, right? And behind the scenes of marketing. But before I do that, let me introduce myself. I know they've done some introduction about me. In the last couple of years, my name is Jumoke Shotonwa, right? I've worked with different individuals, different brands, different companies to help them, tell their brand story or their personal story through styling, right? Anywhere I go, I just love to ensure that people, women, men, look like the best version of themselves. We've worked with different brands. I styled the Olori Atuache the third for the coronation, when they came into, when they became the king and the queen of Warri, styled brands like Skechers, Darling, styled people like Funke Akindele, Nancy Sime. We've done different campaigns across Nigeria. So we're very, very, very particular about storytelling, right? Whether you're a personal brand, whether you're a company, our goal is that through fashion, we can tell your story, perfectly to your audience such that they can connect with you or to your brand. Right now, let's go into storytelling in fashion. Why do we need to tell stories in fashion? Why are we talking about storytelling in fashion? Like everyone here has said, you connect more with the story behind a brand, behind a person, right? For me, for example, the reason why you can hear me speak about this is because number one, I currently work in marketing, right? I work in PR, I work in marketing. I see how brands, ensure that customers, consumers, believe them, believe the product, believe the story they're telling. And what I do in my field of work is to be able to um, communicate to the consumer, communicate to the end user why they should use a particular product. So it could be a hair product, it could be a fashion product, it could be, a fintech product. My goal is to ensure that you who is seeing this product connect with that product, right? And so you can listen to me because I'm in that space. Right now, to tell stories in fashion is very, very important because what we're doing is to build a brand. We're trying to build a brand, and to build a brand, it's all about storytelling. We're in a world right now that content is king. Everyone is creating content. Everybody is a content creator right now. Because how you're able to tell your story, of course, is through content creation, right? Now, to build a brand, first of all, you need to understand that there's a difference between a brand and branding, right? They're two different things. Now, your brand is what other people think about you or about your business, right? And it's all rooted in the perception they have about your business or about you. So that's the brand you have, right? Now, branding, on the other hand, is the process, right? Is the process, is the action, is how you create a brand, is what you do to create a perception. And in that process, it's called, we have storytelling in that process, right? So branding is the action. What that means is it's in the kind of pictures you take, it is how you show up, is how you package your product, it's how you sew your clothes, it's in the finishing, it's in the kind of models you use, it's the kind of videos you shoot, is how your logo is. That's branding. Branding is the action. And it's important for every fashion business to be recognizable, right? It's important that you're able to attract the right kind of customers. It's important that you're able to stand out from your competitors. That's where branding comes in. But the goal is that you're able to build a brand, right? You're able to build a brand that is memorable. You're able to build a brand that is trustworthy. You're able to build a brand that's also even evolving. The kind of brand that people had before COVID is definitely different from the kind of brand people have right now, right? Now everyone does storytelling. You have to use video, right? Video content. Before, it was a lot of picture content, flyers. But now, if you're not doing a video, you may not be able to tell your story or reach your target audience the way they ought to be reached, right? So branding and building a brand and branding, they're two different things. Now, how we build a brand and what we're going to focus on today is in those process, which is storytelling. It's in the storytelling. Storytelling is the heart of fashion. Let me tell you, when we talk about fashion, I like how everyone chose the story behind the clothes today, right? Because when you make a piece or an outfit, a lot of times as creatives, as fashion designers, we are very creative. We are very consumed with, the piece, the art of things, right? We are consumed with the creativity. Oh, want to just make a really nice pants or a really nice dress, or you want to just style, if you're a stylist here, you want to just style a client, you want to just put them in nice clothes. But beyond that, it's in the process, and which is the story you're telling and how you are telling the story. Because you want to have a lasting brand, you want to have a memorable brand. I'm going to share my screen shortly and show you something, right? And let me see what you can recognize, right? Let me share my screen quickly. I'm going to also stop sharing once I just give me a second. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me put in the comment section. When you see Apple, for example, what comes to mind? What comes to your mind when you see Apple? The Apple logo.
An iPhone. An iPhone.
An
Or
iPhone.
a Mac. Yeah.
Okay, what else comes to mind?
A MacBook.
A MacBook. Okay, so what comes to your mind is the product, right? Okay, anything else? Anybody else wants to put it in the comments or speak up? When you see the Apple logo, what comes to mind?
A phone.
Sorry?
A phone. iPhone.
Phone. Okay, the iPhone. Okay. Anybody else? I want something else apart from the product. What comes to mind if you see the Apple logo?
The innovation behind their work, how
The-
how forward thinking they are with their technology.
Beautiful. How forward thinking they are with their technology. Someone said
Luxury.
lovely. Someone says nice but expensive. Luxury. Love it. Right? Okay, let's go to Coca-Cola. When you see the Coca-Cola logo,
Hello?
what comes to mind?
Hello? Yeah,
Yeah, go on. Okay, the logo of the company, beautiful. All right, let's go to Coca-Cola now. When you see the Coca-Cola logo, what comes to mind? Anybody? Togetherness. I love it. Anybody else?
Happiness.
Happiness. I love it. Right? So if you see satisfaction, I love it, right? So you see how these different brands have left a particular narrative in your mind. Someone says sugar and Christmas, amazing, right? These particular brands here, they've left a narrative in your mind. And how did they do that? They did that through storytelling. Apple, for example, you see how every year in September, they will always release a new iPhone. It might be the same thing, they just change something. Everybody's rushing to buy an iPhone, right? Now we have the iPhone 17, everybody is raving about, because they've continually told us a story about technology, about innovation, about how sleek it is. They've continued to tell a story about how iPhone is all about personalization. That's where the I came in, right? The I, which is if you have an iPhone, you have an iWatch, you have an Apple MacBook, you have an iPad, it's all personalized to you. They've told us that story, right? Even though what you see in an iPhone, it can also be found in the Samsung. But because of the storytelling and the kind of brand they've built, we already believe it and we always want to use an iPhone. If you've not used an iPhone, you don't feel like you are luxurious, right? You feel like you're not using the best of the best. Now, Coca-Cola, on the other hand, they've managed to tell us a story about togetherness through their ads. You see Share a Coke, right? You've seen the campaign that they did with having people's names on the bottles, right? Everyone wants to have a bottle of Coca-Cola because they've already told us the narrative. They told us a story about you as a person, sharing happiness. Whenever you see your name, you go to in 20, I think it was 20, maybe 2019 or so, where the whole personalization of the bottle of Coca-Cola was. Everyone wanted to buy a bottle of Coke because you'll be happy when you see your name. It was all about happiness, about satisfaction, right? So they've managed to tell us these stories because they've managed to put a narrative in our heads because of the story that they've told over the years. Now, with storytelling, fashion, and everyone here is in the fashion industry, I believe. Fashion is not just about the clothes. Please, it's not just about the clothes. Fashion is not just about the fabric. It's not just about the technique you are using, right? Fashion is about the people. It's about the storytelling. It's how you're able to capture imaginations. It's about how you're able to tell your story, your origin story, how you're able to talk about maybe the culture, how you're able to talk about the vision behind your brand. That's what fashion is about. That's how you're able to tell a narrative and build a brand that is unforgettable. So it's important that when you're putting your brand out there, don't just be all about the clothes, the fabric, you need to tell a story. It's the heart of culture shaping. That's storytelling. You're able to tell a story, tell a narrative, you're able to build loyalty. You're able to build loyalty with your consumers, with your audience. That's what fashion is all about. That's what storytelling in fashion is all about. So it's really, really important. It's important you tell a compelling brand story. To every single one of you, I'm sure you have a reason why you started your business as a stylist, as a designer, as whatever it is you do in the fashion space. Now, let me tell you why it's important. It's important because in the fashion space, right, we have trends. Trends come and go every 3 months. Every 3 months. Or if it's so long, 1 year, right? And so you don't want to build a brand all around the style. You don't want to build a brand all around the fabric. Now in Nigeria, tell me what's trending. Someone should just put in the comment section what's trending. What's trending right now in the fashion industry? In terms of like clothing, you see mesh. Everybody's wearing mesh. Everyone is wearing ashoke pants. Everyone is doing, Adire at the point Google was trending. Now Palazzo, exactly. You don't want to build a brand around things that will come and go. You want to build a brand that is lasting, right? And so you must take your storytelling very, very seriously. You must begin to build your brand in a way that is compelling. That can be, you need to begin to craft narratives that will resonate with your target audience, who you're trying to reach. Every one of us cannot reach everybody. You can't say your target audience is women between the age of 18 to 50. That's not your target audience, right? You must have a target audience that you can speak to directly. right? And another reason why it's important to build a brand through storytelling is that you are able to connect emotionally with your consumers. Now we spoke about Apple, we spoke about Coca-Cola, right? The reason why consumers will go for Apple is because they just want to feel like they have the best product, they are using the best. It's an emotional decision. People buy based on emotions. Let me tell you, people buy based on, and I'm going to show you how you can build your brand, how you can tell a very powerful story with your brand, right? So it's very important you take into consideration your brand story, the kind of narrative you're telling and you're showing, right? Now, there is actually a template you can use, right? I'm going to just say it quickly, and I can share the templates with you, Emmanuel. Maybe I'll share it with you, and I can share with the community, so you can use that to build, come up with like a mission statement for your brand, right?
Okay, well.
Now, for your brand, why would you need to do a brand story? Number one, I've said it, to connect with your consumers on a very deeper level, right? It also just ensures that you have a sense of identity. People can connect, people can make decisions quickly. Now, for me, if I'm going to buy from a brand, I want to buy from a brand that can interpret my personal style. And what is my personal style? I want to, my personal style is classic, right? It's clean. I love blazers. I love, nice structured pants. I love structured outfits. If I'm going to buy an outfit, I want to see that your pieces connect with my values, right? So it ensures that your consumers, your customers can connect deeply with you. Number two, telling stories through your brand also communicates your values and your ethics. Like I said, for me, my value is I love modesty personally. Now, if your brand is all about open body, open breast, because right now in the fashion industry, I'm very big on my faith, right? If your brand and the kind of pieces you make shows a part of the body, maybe the cleavage, the slit is so high, the back is open, the tummy is open, I would not patronize you, right? So having to tell your brand story will help you reach the kinds of people you want to reach. And it obviously will help you communicate your values and your ethics. And the people that also share the same value would patronize you. For example, in the fashion industry at the moment, sustainability is a very, very, very big part of the industry. And there are people who are very big on sustainability, right? We're trying to talk about green economy and things like that. Now, if your value is all about sustainability, please, by all means, tell your story. The people who have the same values would navigate towards you and they will patronize you. So it's important because, again, don't forget, we're trying to build a brand. And to build a brand, your brand has to be what? Unforgettable, trustworthy, right? And how you build a brand is through branding. And now, through branding, one of the key factors of branding or process of branding is storytelling, right? And now we're talking about the importance of storytelling. All right, let's keep going. When you tell your stories, it also obviously differentiates you from the saturated market. Right now, everyone can do boo-boo, but when Tubo does her boo-boo, it's different. Do you agree with me? Does anybody agree with me? When Tubo does boo-boo, it's different from every other person's boo-boo, right? That's because when you begin to tell your story in a very intentional manner, right, it will differentiate you from the crowd. Okay, then now, how do we build a compelling brand story? Again, let me go back. I like to be very thorough with my teaching, right? To build a sustainable brand that is lasting, to build a brand that consumers, your target audience, would obviously choose in and out of season. There are people who will obviously always go for Tubo. There are people who will go for Banker Kuku. There are people who will go for Ejiro Emostafiri. Come rain, come sunshine. Why? Because they've built a brand and they relate with their brand. So they are connected to that brand. If Ejiro Emostafiri changes her price today, there are people that will not mind paying for it, right? What we want to do as fashion designers, no matter the level that you are, is to build loyalty. Build loyalty to your customers, with your target audience, that they will always come. There are people that every time Apple releases a new phone, I'm sure you all been seeing on social media, everybody's going to buy iPhone 17. Everybody's buying iPhone 17, the orange color. Everybody's buying iPhone 17, the orange color. Everybody's buying iPhone 17. Because Apple has built loyalty over the years. And let me put a caveat here. Building a brand through storytelling takes time. Please write it down. It takes time. And so we must be very intentional with how we are telling our stories. We must be very intentional how we are crafting our story. Because it's over time. People see things, they say little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So Rome was not built in a day. So it's day by day, step by step, and you're able to build a very, very, very formidable brand. All right. Now, how do you tell a compelling brand story? Number one, you need to be able to share the origin story. You need to be able to share your origin story. Like I said, for me, I'm very big on helping people become a better version of themselves. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are a business trying to tell your story, you're trying to project a better version of yourself, whether you're a working class professional, whether you're a business owner, I want to be able to help you look like the best version of yourself. So for me to be able to reach my target audience, there are people that connect and resonate with a higher self. There are people that connect and resonate with becoming the best version of themselves. So as I keep telling that story, my people will connect to me, right? So you must be able to tell your origin story. Share where did you start? What inspired you? For example, I'm building something that you guys will see in the few months. And I had a first-hand experience. And I'm like, people need to, not go through this. And when I'm going to start talking about that particular thing I'm building, I would tell my story. And when I tell my story, people can connect, right? So what inspired you? What challenges did you have? And you felt like, okay, I need to begin to build something to combat this challenge, right? You must be able to share that human part of your story, of your brand. So start by sharing your brand story, your origin story. It always does the trick. Trust me. It always does the trick, right? Now let's move. I mean, I think some of you saw this Vicky James, from Ajegule to Forbes. Was it Forbes or something like that? Who saw that? Please let me know if you saw that, when she told the story of how she started from Ajegule to building a award-winning business. Did anybody see that story? A lot of people connected with Vicky James because of. She inspired people, right? She inspired people, even people that are doing well. She inspired them. So you must tell your story. That's the way you can build that emotional. Remember, I'm telling you that a brand, you must also see your business like a person, right? So you must have that emotional side to connect with people. Why did you start? What challenges did you face? What did you go through? Were you in a face me, I face you apartment, and then now you are now in a 5-story building, five room duplex in Lekki or something? Share your story. Oh, were you somebody that never really had clothes growing up, and then you felt like, I want to be able to talk about this? Tell your story. There's power in your story. There's power in your voice, right? Tell that story. People want to hear that. People want to connect with your brand. That's how you're able to build a formidable brand, right? Now, how do you tell this story? How do you tell the story? And that's what I'm going to share with you in terms of the workbook I want to share after this meeting, right? Number one, what is your mission? What is your mission? You need to write it down, right? What do you want to achieve? And that thing is a verb, is an action. Like I said, I want to help people look like the best version of themselves. That is a verb, is an action word, right? So what is your mission? The next thing you will now put down is, who am I targeting? Who are the people I want to do this for in the fashion industry? Right? Now, where or who are these people? Where are they? What industry are they? Are they in the fashion industry? Are they in the career space? Are they brides? Right? You need to put the segment or the industry these people are in. Right? So you need to be very specific of the segments within the fashion industry. So who do I want to target? Do I want to target women who never have clothes to wear? whenever they are going for weddings? Do I want to target women that always go for, girls' dates, casual outfits, but really stylish? Do I want to target women who want to just look very comfortable and chic? You must be able to be very specific, right? I'm telling you and teaching you how you can create a mission statement for your business, how you can communicate your story, right? What is your mission? What do you want to achieve? Number one, who are you targeting? To what people do you want to reach? Where are they? What kind of people are they are they brides? Are they working class professionals? You must be very specific. Number four is you need to highlight the unique aspect of your brand. What makes you different? What is your unique value proposition? So do I want to make brides feel like they can be themselves on their wedding day, or do I want to only do simple wedding dresses for brides? What's the unique value proposition you're putting out there? Is it just what's it called, Mikado kind of dresses you want to do, or satin, or do you want to do lace like Vicky James, for example? I'm going to use Vicky James because a lot of fashion entrepreneurs or fashion designers or fashion businesses can relate to Vicky James, right? They know her. So Vicky James, for example, you see she does lots of corsets, lots of bead work and all of that, right? So what is the unique value proposition? Someone like a Tubo does bead work, but she doesn't do like really massive bead work. So you need to have a unique value. What is that thing that makes you stand out? You must know it, right? Number five, right? What are the values that guide your operations? So what do I mean by the values? It could be excellence. It could be, attention to detail. What are these values that guide your overall vision of your brand? It could be sustainability, right? It could be culture. So everything I do, I want to be able to tie it back to our Nigerian culture. Let me say this here. As Nigerian or African fashion designers, we need to begin to tell our stories. A lot of Nigerian or African designers are not telling our African story enough. Everyone is just copying everything. We need to tell, and like I said, there's power in your story. There's power in your story. Tell your story. If you're in Nigeria, we have our Nigerian story. If you are from, for example, the name of my brand is called Kwasi. And Kwasi came from my heritage. My mom is from Benue State in Nigeria. She's from the Tiv, tribe in Benue State. And so woman in Benue State is called Kwasi. And we're all about the woman, helping you look like the best version of themselves. And that's where the name Kwasi came from. That's my story. Whenever anybody see the name and hear the name Kwasi, they keep saying, "Oh, are you Ghanaian? I'm like, no, I'm Nigerian." So we must, as fashion business owners, let's begin to tell our stories. Tell your story. Don't be ashamed of your story, whatever it is. Tell it as much as possible, right? So like I said, what's the core values? Number 6, you need to begin to state the impact you're trying to achieve with your product or with your service, right? What's the impact or goal? What's the contribution to the industry? What's the contribution to that particular target audience, right? You need to state it down. Number 7, you now need to put your key feature, expertise, or approach that makes you different from your competition. Let me say that again. You need to emphasize your key feature, right? Or your expertise, or the approach you are taking that makes you different from your competition. Now, this is your differentiation, right? Now, do you guys know Dye-Lab? Does anybody know Dye-Lab here? Dye-Lab is a brand that does adire, colorful adire, boo-boos, and even, outfits. A lot of people do boo-boos in Nigeria. But whenever I say a Dye-Lab piece, does anybody know Dye-Lab? Please let me know I hope I'm not speaking over people's heads. Dye-Lab, let me see if I can pull out a picture of a very, yes, let me see if I can get a picture of Dye-Lab's outfits, right? Okay, I just saw a picture. Let me see. Am I getting responses? Does anybody know that? Okay, Tumisha says, I know Dialab. Who else knows Dialab? Okay, comment knows Dialab. Fantastic. Okay, let me share my screen. I want to show you something. I want this to be very practical. I want you to understand why you must tell stories for your brand. Can you see can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you look at this is a dial-up, boo-boo. If you know brands in Nigeria, right? Whenever you see a dial-up piece, it's very distinct. It's very colorful. They play with shapes and patterns. The way they mix it, it's just unique to them. And dial-up, this particular outfit is 405,000 naira. Can you guys see it? Right? There are people that would buy these outfits. This outfit on this platform is sold out of stock.
Wow.
Right? There are people that will buy Dialab any day, anytime, over any random ready-to-wear brand. And this is because they've been able to build a story around their brand, right? And so it's very, very important. Again, we're trying to build a brand in the fashion industry that would connect with your target audience and build loyalty for you. So you must take this seriously, right? You must take this seriously. Now, I've shared with you how you can, come up with your mission statement, right? What is your mission? Who is it for? What aspect or segment in the industry is it for? What is your unique value proposition? What's your core value? What's your differentiation? What stands you out? By the time you do all of that, you're able to come up with your own unique mission statement and begin to tell your story in a way that is compelling, right? And connect with with the right target audience, right? Now, let me also explain. It's almost, oh my God, please let me know when my time is up. I like to talk and teach. I hope you're learning something. Are you learning something? Please let me know if you're learning one or two things already. Let me get your feedback as much as possible. If you are learning something, okay? Now, there are different areas or different ways you can tell your story. Number one, you can tell your fashion story. It could be through maybe sustainability, like I said earlier. It could be through arts, right? There are people that are very, very, I know a friend of mine, she has a brand called The Blooming Place, Oyindeka Arts. Oyindeka Arts, let me see, she does hand-painted kimonos, right? I've known her for a long time and she started doing her brand, her outfit brand, and she does hand-painted pieces, right? Now, I already know what she's made of. And anytime I want something unique, hand-painted, I will go to her, right? So you can tell your story through maybe, sustainability. It could be through art. It could be through our culture. It could be through our identity as Africans. It could be through your personal style, your own, personal style. It could be through maybe activism. There are people who are very big on activism and they want to tell stories through that, right? You can tell stories of your brand, maybe history. Just find something to share. Find a story to tell. It's more sustainable. It's more long-lasting, right? And it's very, very important that you tell your story. Okay, I want to show you some examples of some brands and some stories that they've been able to tell, right? I want it to be engaging. I want it to match your mind, right? Just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to show something. Does anybody know the brand called Kilenta? Kilenta. I know it's now Sush, but I think it's Kilenta or something like that, right? I would share with you different kind of content you can create in telling your stories. Now, what kind of content can you create? Again, like I said, in telling your stories, you need to be able to share your origin story, right? Number two, I also shared with you how you can come up with your mission statements, right? The story you want to tell. Another way you can tell your story is to highlight milestones and achievements you've had, right? So share your brand journey, right? Again, some people have done 10 years in the business. Some people have done 4 years in the business, 5 years in the business. Can you share your brand's journey? Can you celebrate milestones, right? Can you talk about challenges you've overcome? That's how you can be authentic. That's how you can get people to connect to your brand, right? So share your achievements or your milestones. You can also incorporate human elements All right. So talk about your team, right? Your team members. Talk about your tailors. Talk about the process in even getting the tailors. Talk about customer testimonials. Just include that human element, right, to your story. It always adds a human touch. Remember, I said you're trying to get that emotional connection with your brand, and that's the whole point of storytelling, to get emotional connection. You're trying to also get loyalty, right? People that will always trust you and come to you no matter what, come rain, come sunshine, right? Another way you can do that is to begin to define your brand personality, right? So is your brand playful? I think I spoke about, the brand called Oyindeka Art that, she's all about art, painting, hand painting, right? She's all about colors. She likes colors. She likes, beautiful, she likes pastels, right? So define the personality of your brand. And that way it can begin to translate to the designs that you make, all right? So is it a playful brand? Is it a luxurious brand? Is it a very sophisticated brand? Or is it a rebellious brand? For example, Kai Collective. Kai Collective is a rebellious brand, right? They don't stick to the norm. They are disrupting the fashion space. She's telling her story differently, right? So if you do this, if you're able to define your personality as a brand, right, you're able to maintain that consistency in your visuals. You're able to maintain the consistency in your tone. You're able to maintain the consistency across all your, channels, your Instagram, your website, your TikTok, your YouTube. If you call you for an interview, for example, you're saying the same thing. People can connect with you, right? So it's important that you be able to create that, brand persona. Also, you need to begin to talk about collaborations and maybe partnerships that you have, right? This way people can see that, okay, for example, Kai Collective collaborated with, when she came to Lagos, she collaborated with Alara Lagos to do her pop-up sale. That's collaboration. Kai Collective as well collaborated with Dialab, for example, right? Share those collaborations, share those partnerships, talk about the value, why you're collaborating with that person, right? If you're collaborating with another fashion designer, for example, why are you collaborating with that? Talk about the story, share your brand value that made you also connect with that other person's, brand value, right? This way, as you're talking about these things to your target audience, they are connecting, they are relating, they are buying more into your brand, right? Also, you need to utilize visuals. There's something called visual storytelling, right? So you need to begin to invest in your quality videos, in pictures that obviously will reflect your brand aesthetic, reflect your brand values, right? Reflect your core as a brand, such that you're able to resonate, your brand able to resonate with the right people. There are people who do everything, they're just everywhere. And you can't even pick who's connected to that particular brand. They see somebody doing Adire today, they do Adire. They see somebody doing adding beads to fringe to their clothes, they'll do fringe. They see somebody doing, ashoke, they do ashoke. People are already doing raffia, they add raffia, right? You're everywhere. But you need to be able to stick to your own authentic story. And you can do that through visual storytelling, right? Videos, pictures, ensuring that it's the kind of models that you use for your photo shoots is part of your storytelling, is important. The kind of makeup you do is important. The kind of hairstyling that they use for your photo shoot is important, right? The finishing of your work, the kind of video, when you do the video, if it's high quality, low quality, it's part of your storytelling, it's part of your brand. I'm telling you, it all adds up. So you must be very, 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 very mindful of those things, right? Now, you can begin to develop a content calendar. Now, this content calendar would then, include, regular updates of your brand, a day in my life, a day in the life, or a day in the studio, a day in, whatever, behind the scenes as a founder, a day in the life of the designer, behind the scenes, you're showing the fabric, how the process of going to get the fabric, how you did the style, how you came up with it, the creative. If you look at Vicky Jane, for example, whenever she does a really unique dress, a wedding dress or AMPCA or whatever, you see that she will record a video and she will tell a story. That way, people can connect. You see people saying, "Oh my gosh," and you hear her say things like, "Oh, she was inspired by God." you know, she did this, she didn't sleep overnight, she did the dress in 24 hours or in 48 hours. She tells stories. So it's very, very important to build loyalty, to build a very, very, very concrete, you know, audience. You must tell your stories, right? And then you do that through storytelling. You do that through creating content, right? And in creating content, what kind of content can you create, right? I've said you can do behind the scenes content, you can do regular updates, you can do a day in the life, you can do campaigns, you can do collaborations, create content around that. You need to be able to humanize your brand because people connect with people. If your brand is very, you know, what's it called? Very plastic. What that means is all you're putting on your brand is just a model picture. You're just putting a picture of, you know, on your page or your website, you know, of the dress, the outfit, all professional pictures. There's no, you know, human touch. Nobody's going to connect. So it's very, very important that you tell stories, right? And also infuse the human side of things, right? Now, what kind of stories can you create? I'm really running fast. Emmanuel, please let me know how many minutes I have more. What kind of stories can you create? Like I said, behind the scenes content. Now, let me show you a behind the scenes content that is relatable. I'm going to share my screen. And the reason why I'm doing this so that you can understand and see the real execution of these things, right? The real execution of these things. So let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? So I'm going to play this video now.
If you can see closely, the raffia strands, oh, you can't see it. The raffia strands here are woven into this bralette. I don't really know if the girls would wear this. So I have changed my mind. We made this raffia.
Okay, did you guys get that? Did you play? Did you see the video? Did you hear the sound?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what did you guys pick from that particular from this video? I just let me see if you gained something from what I've said so far. What did you pick from that content? Anyone can unmute your mic if you can, or put it in the chat. Okay. Fantastic. She was taking us through the process of her work. Someone says they're telling the story through the process. Exactly. So this is what we call behind the scenes content, right? So you can see how they've shown us. You see how she started with a bralette and she ended up with a top, right? So you can you know, pick her brain. You can see the thought process, right? So you can see the creativity, you can see the how she moved from this to the final result, right? So this way people can connect with the brand. People can connect with your brand as you keep telling your story. And one of the ways you can tell that is through behind the scenes content like this, right? Take them through the process of making that outfit. You know, you had maybe two fabric in front of you and how you had to decide the one you wanted, or you made a long sleeve and then when the dress was done, the long sleeve didn't really stitch right, and then you turn it to a short sleeve, right? That's how we tell stories. They'll see what people will see is your creativity. What people will see is your hard work. What people will see is your thought process, and that way they can connect deeply with you, right? Okay, so I've spoken about behind the scenes content. Another kind of content you can create is you can create relatable content, right? So what I mean by relatable content, what that means is like maybe a client wearing your outfit, a day in the life, just ways that ways that people can relate to your brand and they can see themselves in the brand, right? So let me share another. Okay, let me share this. So loading. So this, before I play it, okay, let me play it and then I'll ask you guys. Right. So this is from Lady Maker, right? Do you guys, I'm sure you guys know Lady Maker. So what did you guys pick from these contents, for example? Let me see it in the comment section. What did you get? Okay, let me see. What did you guys get from this? So this is your relatable content. So watching this, what's the feeling? What's the emotion you got from this kind of video, for example? Let me hear. I want to hear your thoughts. Anyone, you can unmute your mic if you want, or you can type in the chat while I try to share another video. So this kind of video is a relatable video, right? Relatable content. Watching this video, I personally, I feel like, oh my God, I love this. I want this. You know, I can style this in different ways, right? That's the way you can tell story of your pieces, right? Of your brand, right? She collaborated with Porede, for example, and she's been able to tell the different ways to style lady makeup pieces, right? Okay, exactly. Someone says it shows the sustainability of the outfit. So you can wear one outfit in different ways. What I'm seeing as a consumer is that I will get value for my money, right? So these are ways you can obviously, you know, tell stories of your brand such that you can relate and connect with your target audience, right? Okay, let me share you a couple more. You can also share, you know, you can also tell your story through campaigns or collections. When I say campaigns, you know, thematic campaigns like Mother's Day or Christmas or Valentine's or Independence Day, or you can do bridal, you can do walkway, so you can tell your stories in different ways. The goal is that you're just telling a story. You're not just doing things that are not connecting emotionally with your audience, right? So let me share this content. Let me see. This is Kai Collective. When she came in, I hope you guys know these brands. I hope I'm not speaking over your heads because I hope everyone is, or you're learning or knowing the brands as we go. Okay, let me share this with you. So this is All right. So I've shared you different relatable, practical examples of how you can tell your stories, right? The goal is that you're able to share your vision, share your values, share everything your brand represents through storytelling, right? So kind of content you can create behind the scenes, you can do thematic themes, Mother's Day, Valentine's, Christmas, you can do your collections, you can do client cam, clients who wear your outfit, you go for an exhibition, for example, share it, humanize your brand, right? You can do relatable content like I've shared, a day in my life, different ways to style this, different ways to wear this, business updates or collaboration. What we just finished watching now is Kai, right? And she collaborated with the brand. And you saw how she spoke about the vision of Kai and how she collaborated with this brand. So again, everyone can connect. You can see why she's doing what she's doing, right? And you can relate to the brand, right? So it's very, 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 very important that you tell your story, right? Your story is powerful. The story has to be authentic to you, right? That way we can build a very thriving ecosystem in fashion. Even people internationally can obviously, relate to what we're trying to do and connect with us, right? So that's with storytelling in fashion, how you can tell your story, position your brand, as a force. We have brands in Nigeria. If I mention some brands right now, I'm sure you can obviously relate to how they've been able to tell their stories, how they've been able to stand distinct, even though they do similar things, but they are still different, right? For example, I'm sure you know Ejire Mustafiri, Bankia Kuku, Emi Casbit, Andrea Yama. These people all are designers. Ejire Mustafiri is a designer, Tubo is a designer, but they have different ways they've told their story and they position their brands separately such that they can reach their own people. And that's the goal, right? And that's the goal you're trying to look for. So it's very important to tell your story. We have brands like Nanfe, we have brands like Sisiano, Hatumba, we have brands like Kilenta. So there are different brands. The market is saturated, but what stands you apart is your story. Your story is different from my story. Your story is different from another person's story. So the only way we can be different is how we tell our story. Even if we're all talking about sustainability, the way I would talk about sustainability is different from the way another person will talk about sustainability, right? So please, I want you to put that in mind when building your own brand because it's very, very important. Now, we've spoken about behind the scenes. We can move into behind the scenes in marketing, right? Marketing your fashion brand is very important. I just spoke about it. What does that mean? It means showing the behind the scenes, not making it very plastic, right? Again, humanizing your brand. You can show your workers. You can show the sketch. You can show how you came up with 5 sketches for one thing and how you now chose one. You can show how you're sourcing your fabric. You can show how you're trying to choose your models. You're trying to do a shoot and you have different models. Document it. Talk about it. All right. Bring people in, draw people in. That's the whole point of BTS, behind the scenes marketing in fashion, right? Everything you see online is all cooked. It's not organic as it were. It's all orchestrated. It's all curated. So curate your brand through your story, right? Talk about the photo shoots day, the day of the shoot. Talk about the prep, the preparation. You're a stylist. You're going to style a bride. Talk about your process there. Talk about a day in the life. Talk about how you chose the colors. You're trying to choose fabric. Everything. The goal is that we're trying to create an authentic connection with our consumers. We're trying to ensure that people stick with us through thick and thin, right? And it's very, very, very important. Your brand is evolving. People are growing with you. People are evolving with you. They can see that you're very transparent with your process. They can see that you're very, your brand is engaging, is authentic, is real. You're growing, and that way you can actually get loyalty from your customers. That way you can actually build a long-lasting brand for yourself, right? I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things. It's exactly 1 hour on the dot. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things. Are there questions? Have you gained knowledge? Are you going to be able to tell your stories in a very compelling way going forward? Do you have clarity on how to go about it, on the kind of content you can create, why you should build a brand, not just do business like every other person? Yeah, If there are any questions, please, I think it's time. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ma. Please, can we celebrate our tutor for that amazing session? Thank you so much. She taught so well, man. Thank you so much. Can we, put our clapping emojis together, give her a thumbs up. You can share your love emoji. I was just like, oh my God, thank you. Like, I'm so glad. I couldn't have talked if I knew that person to take this session. I know that. No, it's loaded. All right, we have a question here, Ma. And please, guys, make sure you ask your question so we can get more clarity. All right, this is from Blessing Odunayo. I've learned a lot, Ma. But please, what advice would you give to the likes of me that are still coming up? Yeah. So I want to believe Blessing is in the fashion space as well. And so she said, oh, I'm coming up, I'm new in the game. So what advice will you give me, to get better?
Okay. Thank you. So if you're just coming up, I think it's a good time to start because the foundation is very important, right? And we have to start from the foundation. So what you've learned here, I hope it has armed you with the tools, with the processes, with the ways you can do it, how you can go about it. So it's a very good time to start. Take everything I've taught here, to start, right? I don't know what you do. Are you a designer, right? Or a stylist? What do you do? If you're just coming up, a designer, perfect, right? Begin to just curate your brand. Start with your mission, right? Start with your mission. I've told you how you can come up with a mission statement because you can't tell a story that you don't even have or you're not clear about, right? So what is your mission statement? What is your vision? Why are you in the fashion space? What is your why? Right? Blessing, start with your why. What is your why? Articulate your why and begin to tell that story step by step. Remember what I said? Building a brand, right, is not a walk in the park. Number one, building a brand is not a one-day stuff. It takes time. You see some of the brands I've called here, they've been in the industry for 15 years, for likes of Diola Sego for 30 years, right? So if you're just starting, I think you're in the right place, and I'm really rooting for you. Okay, do the work, come up with your plans, the kind of content you want to create, how you want to position your brand, who are you targeting, what kind of story are you telling, and trust me, the sky will be the starting point for you. All right.
All right, thank you so much, Mark. Can we celebrate that response? That was very expressive. All right, Mujidat Mogaji, please go ahead with your question. Thank you. Mujidat, can you hear me? All right. If she's not available right now, then let's have Beauty by Royalty. Please, you can go ahead with your question, please. Beauty by Royalty, are you here? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. So if you have any questions, please let me know so we can release the speaker as quickly as possible. And if you want to share any feedbacks as well, you can raise your hand and I give you the opportunity to talk. And you can as well type your feedback or your questions in the community because after sessions like this, it's important for you to ask questions to gain more and more clarity. So one thing I'm going to try to do immediately while we wait for question is to share our tutors IG page. So I'm going to share the link to our page right now, and I know that many of us we want to follow our on social media. Okay, Mujidat, are you here now? Okay, let me know if you have questions. I can still see some hands raised here. So I'm going to share the link to our page on IG so that we can follow up. Should in case you have questions you want to ask, should in case you need clarity about some things, you can always reach out to her to ask. So if okay, I have a question here from Oluwatomi Shudende. So Oluwatomi is asking, is fashion storytelling a role in the fashion industry presently? Is fashion storytelling a role in the fashion industry presently? That's from Oluwatomi.
Okay, thank you, Oluwatomi. Right now, it's still growing, right? It's still budding. It's very, 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 very new, right? And it's all about, PR, fashion PR. We don't really have that in the Nigerian fashion industry currently. We have some people doing it here and there, but what they are doing is more just PR for fashion, putting you in the right rooms, in the right shows, and all of that. But in terms of that storytelling, it's not yet, blooming in the fashion industry right now. And so I think it's an opportunity if you're very big on storytelling, if you know how to position a brand in the right way, how you can help a brand tell their story. What we have currently is more marketing, right? PR, the real marketing, what's it called? Industry, PR industry, and people can just, do PR for brands and things like that. But for fashion as a niche, right, it's not yet solid in the industry. And I think it's an opportunity you can explore if you want to go into it.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. That was very good. Can we celebrate our speaker for that? Thank you, thank you. So I've just dropped the link to our page on IG because I believe after now many of us wants to connect with her. And let me give you a cheat code. She did not tell me this, but let me give you. Do you understand? So she's also into in the PR and media industry. She mentioned that. So for some of us that we are in the fashion industry, we are creative. We are in in the makeup industry and all of that. Just try to follow our content on social media. I tell you the honest truth, you will naturally know what to do. I'm telling you the truth. Just follow it. And I think she said she's going to also share something with me, which I'm going to share in the community as well. Let us ensure to connect to her because I know that after now, once you send a DM to her, just tell her that, oh, my name is so. I listened to you. I joined the last session at Fashion Finance Africa. So I want to ask this and all of that. And you will get a response from her. Yeah, all right. Okay, Rofia Ajoke, do you have a question? I do want to give you feedback. Please go ahead. Thank you. Rafiat Ajoke, your hand is raised. All right.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
All right. Good evening.
Okay. I actually joined in, so I didn't speak more on what was said.
Okay.
My friend goes this. The thing is, I'm actually not new to the fashion industry. Like, I've been in it for years, like about 5, 6. But then I still feel like I'm not more inclined to the business aspect very well because I've seen people that just started like maybe 2 years ago and they've gone beyond like what where I am. Let me just see the word where I am. So I'm still finishing up and all of that. So I don't know if there's something I'm missing out on that aspect or I don't know if you get my question.
Sorry. Okay. Can you rephrase the question? I don't know if our speaker got that question. Okay, please. Can you rephrase, please?
Okay,
Thank
what
you.
I meant, sorry, is
Okay.
I've been in the industry, like I said earlier, for
Okay.
2 years. The
Okay.
business aspect of this fashion industry, I don't
Okay.
really know well.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
get to know it properly, but still, I always still fall backwards. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Ma, did you get the question?
No, I didn't. I just heard
Okay.
that she's not new in the industry, but I didn't get the
Yeah.
remaining.
Yeah. So I think what she's trying to say is she said she has been in the fashion industry for a while and she doesn't seem to get the business aspect of the fashion industry. That she feels as though there are some people that even started much recently and they seem to be getting a hang of how things are being done. So probably she needs clarity as to understand the business part of fashion industry as it were.
Okay. So the business part of fashion is a very, very, very important part of fashion that a lot of creatives don't pay attention to. I think I mentioned when I was speaking that as creatives, right, we are very, see, let me tell you, the fashion industry, the fashion business, the creative part is 10% of the fashion business. The main part, which is the business side, is 90%. But because we are the ones having the idea, coming up with the ideas, the creativity, we have the passion, we focus our energy on the creative side than the business side. And now when we talk about the business, I have a book called How to Build a Successful Fashion Business. You go to my page, you see it. And I wrote down, it's like, fashion business 101, right? It's very simple to understand. You will get what I'm saying. You see there's a seller, you can go there, you can purchase it, right? As a fashion business that have been in the industry for a while, for 5 years, and if you're not making money, it means you're not focusing on the right things. Let me tell you, to make money in the fashion industry, you need structure and systems. It's the same way because we are creative. That's why our industry is not really an industry. And I'm very passionate about this. Fashion industry is not really an industry because there's no structure and there's no system. Right now, I know somebody who's trying to build a career in the fashion industry. Somebody asked, Blessing, I think someone asked, is there storytelling right now in fashion? Right? My friend who is the one who's in charge, who is the founder of what's her name? Her name is Dami. I don't remember her brand name now. She does recruitment for fashion brands and things like that. Trying to build a fashion career in Nigeria, right? We don't have an industry because a lot of fashion businesses are all about the creative side, which is not bad. But to build a business, just like any other industry, you must focus on the business side. And the business side is all about structure and systems, right? What do I mean by structure and systems for a fashion business? Number one, how do you come up with your designs? What's even your process? Who are your tailors? Are they trained? Right? How do they sew? Do they have like an SOP for your business? How do you come up with campaigns, come up with collections for your brand? If you are doing made to measure, custom made for your clients, right? How do you attract businesses? What's the structure you have put to get customers? Because as a fashion designer, you are the one that will do content, you do design, you sew sometimes by yourself, you do social media, you'll be the customer representative. It's a lot, right? So what you need to focus on now is to begin to see, how do I begin to create some level of structure in my business? You can start small, right? How do I create some structure? How do people reach out to me? First of all, what's the system? What's the process? When I was starting my business, I was very, very overwhelmed as well. I was like, what is this structure? What is this structure that everybody's talking about? What is structure? Structure is just very simple. If you look at your processes, right? What's your process? Number one, a customer reaches out to you to make your outfit. How do they reach out to you? That's a structure. When they reach out to you, who responds to them? That's a structure, right? When they respond to them, how do they get measurements? That's a structure. How do they get their clothes delivered to them? That's a structure. How do the clothes get sewn? Right? How do you sew the clothes? That's a structure. Who sews the clothes? Who monitors the clothes being sewn? So you need to put down your processes, put all the step by step activities that happens in your business. Then now look at how you can make it simplify, how you can structure it that can run without you. That's how you can make money. I have a friend who started teaching businesses how to charge. Fashion business, they even know how to charge their clients. By the time they charge one cloth 35K, 50K, 70K, they think they've made money. You may not have made any money, right? Because you've not put the right things down. To charge your clients, you must put the important things. You must put electricity. You must put internet because you do research. You must put your airtime. You must put your per hour cost. How much do you charge yourself per hour? Right? For even, so you must put all of those things in your costing to be a profitable business. But a lot of times we just put only, you buy fabric, 5 yards, 30K, you pay your tailor 12K or 20K. How much is that? 50 something K. You pay yourself, you just say, I'll pay myself, and you charge your client. No, you need to put all of these things into consideration. So to build a business in the fashion industry, to be successful, to have a thriving fashion business, you must put structure and systems in place. Start small. Start from where you are. Start with SOP, right? Put all of those things down. Start working upwards, and you see how you begin to thrive in your business.
Thank you so much, Mark. Can we appreciate Article for that? Wow. Thank you so much, ma. We have a feedback here. I just went to your page, ma. You're amazing and it is inspiring. From Rafia is saying amazing. All right, guys. I would like to, um, allow our speaker to racially talking sense, and you guys can understand. So can we just unmute our mic to say thank you, and we can also drop the thank you in the chat. Thank you so much, ma. It's such an honor to have you join us today. We learned so much, and we hope that when we reach out to you, again, you will honor
Thank
our
you, ma'am.
invitation. Thank you so much, ma. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much,
ma.
ma'am. We appreciate